So recently, I've been running a lot of free plus shipping and handling funnels, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically you offer a item and it's free, but you're charging for shipping, and essentially the cost of the shipping and the cost of the item is baked into the actual rate that you're charging people. And you make a sales funnel on this in some software. It doesn't really matter what software you use, but then you run advertisements on this funnel. You got a
Can you
question, Matt?
explain what the sales funnel is?
A sales funnel is kind of like a store, except you're customizing the sales experience. So imagine you, instead of going to like Walmart.com and you have a million different product options, or Amazon.com and a million different products, you go to a page where there's one offer where it's like, hey, get this free thing or fuck right off, right? And then you can upsell and curate that purchase experience. So like, you bought this, do you want fries with that? Do you want a milkshake? That kind of thing. So you can curate the experience.
And just to go a step back, what does the ad look like for that?
Well, in this case, we are doing a free plus shipping handling CD funnel, and we're upselling more CDs and also vinyl. And the ad in this case is using various like music videos that the artist had. They had these animated like cool videos made. I don't want to describe them too much because it might give away who the artist is, but cool animated music video type things. And we chopped them up into chunks, 30 to 60 seconds. Well, Matt's there over there dying of emphysema or something. And too many cigars. And even though he never smokes them. But then the ads.
Cigars are good for you.
we chop up the ad into segments. We're running them on social media ads, and literally just on the video, we're putting like free CD or for fans of blah. And I'll give you one of the ones we're using for fans of Pink Floyd, free CD. We have all these like similar lookalikes, but that's one of the CDs what we're doing. And we charge $7.95 for the shipping. The actual CD costs like $1.25 to make in volume. The shipping costs $1.50. So if $3.75 you ship it, you charge $7.95. There's some margin in there, but then we upsell along the way. So for example, we have a button on the checkout that's just donate $5 to support the artist, and 30% of people so far check that box. They don't get anything in return. It's just donate $5 for the artist. And then we have, depending on the exact funnel, we have ones where the next product offered is get 3 CDs for $21. So it's like $7 a CD instead of 15. Or it'll be get 2 vinyls for 40.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I've got a question. What are these CDs? Who's on them? Are they clients of yours? Or is this just you generating? Okay, explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's just a client of mine who has music, right? He has albums that he's released on CDs and vinyls.
So this is exclusively just that one artist, not like it's not a collection of artists.
It's multiple artists done by one guy.
What?
Yeah, one guy with multiple artist projects.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll have different funnels for different artists of his, but like just focusing on like one of them, like he'll have one of his bands. We're doing like a CD upsell, $5 donation thing, offer a batch of CDs, offer discount on vinyls along the way.
So it's like, hey, buy the new, get the new Bono record for free. Do you also want to buy a U2 record?
Is it Bono?
It's not Bono. I was using that as an example of a singer.
Actually, I don't think I do wish it was Bono, but
you get my point.
Well, so he has like in one of his bands, he has 8 albums, and then he has another band that has 3 albums.
No,
another
I
band
was using
4 albums.
that as like a random example of like, here's a solo record from this guy you like. Also, he has a band as part of the funnel.
Let's say it's Sleep Token. Sleep Token runs an ad. It's their first album they ever made, and you can get that CD for free. And then they have an upsell that's like, oh, do you want to get our new CD signed for $25? And then after they say yes or no, it goes to another offer. Do you want to get our ultimate vinyl collection? It's a 4-disc vinyl. It's got this custom insert thing. It's got this collectible thing. And then, if you say no to that, we're going to offer them something else. If they say yes to that, we're going to offer them like this merch pack or something. So it could just be one artist. It could be several artists. It could be a solo project with a band. In this case, we're doing kind of all of those things just because of the unique situation where the artist has like 6 bands.
So the idea is there's a lead magnet, which is that, it's the bait to get them in, which is something for free, and you're really charging shipping and handling. That's really making your nut. But then you're then offering them up, you're upselling them along the way without retargeting them, right? This is all within the same
funnel. All within the sales funnel.
It kind of reminds me, and I hope there's not a negative connotation to this, but it kind of reminds me of the course guru methodology, except a little less nefarious. But it's sort of like
it's the exact same thing I do in my course funnels.
Oh, well, no negativity there. I don't think it's a bad thing. Some people do, but yeah.
Well, it's just like the old school day when you'd on not QCV, but like you'd be watching TV and there'd be an ad from what's the guy who died?
Oh, the like fix it thing.
Yeah, I loved that guy. I wanted
a Snuggie.
Yeah, and then they would say like, get it for free, $11.95 shipping and handling, and then you call and they would try to get you to buy like 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
And they would try to get you to upgrade or they would sell you like a diffuser to make your room smell nice, and then the thing is free, but they're upselling you on a 500 pack for the little pods that go into the diffuser. It's kind of like that. You're luring them in with a free or very cheap item. Billy Mays here, and then you would.
I loved him. That's who I want to be.
What I find interesting about that, Andrew, and I'm kind of curious to get your opinion, is that I have so many conversations with artists where typical sales and business models like that scare the shit out of them. They hate the idea around it, and I get it, right? Because it feels like in some way it spoils the fun of their art. But the reality is those generally work just like any other product in business. So my question for you is that when you're going, like, do you talk to some artists who literally just back out of it entirely because they're just like, I can't participate in that for whatever reason?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, anytime you do any marketing, I think there's a level of like, this is how much I'm willing to do without sacrificing the vision I have for my brand and my art. And some artists like that can even come down to the release strategy with how many singles do you release for the album. Usually all of us are telling people to like release a good amount of singles, but some artists are like, my album is this unique work of art. I'm not willing to do more than 2 singles. And then you have to work with the constraints of that. And that's kind of the same with this. Some people are like, I don't want to offer too many things in my funnel, or I don't want to say this, I don't want to do that. And then you just have to kind of work with the artist to see what they're willing to do. Or find ways to convince them that they're really just being they're overthinking it. Like their fans aren't going to think that they're sellouts because they're trying to actually like get people to buy their music typically.
So what I think is most interesting is so many people, when you're trying to convince them of things like this, they tell me CDs are dead, vinyl's dying. No one wants to give their email address for a download, and I see quite the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
That a lot of people, while you think these things are dead, these things are still very alive because people like owning crap, even if they don't use it. And the story I love to tell is, there we go. I work with an artist that I think presently has 5 million monthly listeners. They fucked up, and on the vinyl, they put the wrong song that is listed on the vinyl package. We've never fixed it, and we've sold, I think, 30 or 40,000, and no one has ever written us and told us that because their audience does not listen to that vinyl.
Wait, you're saying that they put the wrong number? What do you mean number?
We put the literal wrong song. So track 11 on the thing is a different fucking song.
Because nobody owns it.
And we've never bothered to fix it because why make another master? Why make another play? Why bring down the profit margin? But these kids don't listen.
It probably increases the value of the vinyl.
I was talking about this with a band I work with. We printed 100 cassettes of their new record, and we sold the 100 cassettes in like a week. Great. But we were joking because it was like, okay, it's cool your band is popular. How many of those cassettes will get played? 10. How many of those cassettes will get played more than once?
Let's do a thing right here.
Why do we put music on that cassette?
Who here has a cassette player?
I have like 5, but they're not for listening, really.
I have a cassette right here.
But I'm saying a player that you could actually listen to a cassette. In my home, I do not. In my recording studio, I do.
I have like cassette players for sound design, and I have a cassette player because I printed one of my albums on cassette, and I want to be able to listen to it. Make sure it was even the right music on the damn thing. Yeah. But when they sold, same reason I have a CD player. I bought an external CD player. I have a record player because I never grew up with records, and I want to experience what it was like and see what the fuss is about, and also because I want to eventually print one of my band's albums in vinyl. But a lot of people, like 40 million records are sold a year in the U.S. alone. 40 million CDs are sold a year in the U.S. alone. Granted, half of them are like T Swift. but that's still a lot of music, and the money side of that is really good compared to streaming. And the people that buy those things don't necessarily want to even listen. Don't even, a lot of them probably don't even listen to the music on those formats. They do it to support the artist and have a physical, like, collectible that they like.
The study I was going to cite from an article I wrote from Alternative Press on this years ago. Alternative Press paid me to investigate when CDs will die, and I found a few studies on it. And it's funny because they said they'd be dead by next year, and I'm going to tell you right now, they're not. But the main reason they were saying this is next year is when you really see that the planned obsolescence on cars will go away, that the cars that have CD players in them will start to not be on the market anymore. And their argument in this study was that cars are largely what drives CD sales still to this day, that people don't get adapters for their phone. But it's being very proven to be that it was not the case.
You could look at vinyl sales and realize that that's stupid. Like,
Yeah.
if that was do people have record players in their car? No.
Yeah.
People are still buying vinyls.
Well, so half of people who buy records, this is the stat, which means it's worse than what I'm about to say. But half of people who buy records do not own record players.
Yeah, I
Like
buy
records
them. I don't
being
own a
LPs.
record player.
Because it's a collectible,
Yeah.
right?
It's like a real life NFT to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And an NFT that's not stupid.
Both are about as bad for the environment as each other, too.
But, like, what I find fascinating is I come from, like, an underground metal world that is extremely conservative, right? Like underground metal is, like, the most conservative genre in terms of, like, we only listen to this on vinyl and blah, 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 blah. And
Okay,
yet
I thought you were talking politically for a second. I was like,
Well, there are a
where
lot
are
of
you going with
Nazis.
this?
I mean-
Honestly, that's probably a thing too.
But what I'm saying is that, like, if you talk to those, like, if you polled those people, it's like, okay, so you want to buy records, but, like, unless you very specifically have a either very cool office or a work from home job, how many people are, like, listening to records as their primary music thing? And yet, you know, we sold fucking 47,000 Boy Genius records or whatever. The other thing, I just want to share this because I think this is really interesting. I have found this thing with CD bands, specifically, like bands who sell. So typically with a lot of labels I work with, CDs and vinyl sales tend to be about the same. And, you know, and Jesse, you cited an example where you said you felt it was about the same with CDs and LPs with your big artist.
I definitely didn't say that.
Oh, maybe I misunderstood you. I'm sorry.
That's not the case. Vinyl is usual. CDs are 1/3 of vinyl in most of the artist books I've looked at in recent times.
The numbers I said was that the number sold in the USA.
Yeah.
Is
Okay,
about
sorry.
equal.
Yeah, okay, I got muddled. But what I'm saying is that big picture CDs and vinyl sales are on a similar-ish level. But what's interesting that I found with an artist I worked with who got really big in the late 90s, early 2000s, was the label sold way more CDs than we sold LPs. And it was like the first time this had happened for the label in, 10, 15 years. But we realized it was because the people who fell in love with that band in 2004 were used to buying it on CD, so they were going to keep buying it on CD, right? Like, people frequently stick to the format they came in on. And so it's interesting because people over 55 got in on LPs. Then, like,
It'd really be
aged,
you'd be about 51 if you were the LP era. Yeah.
yeah, and then, like, age 35 to 51 came in on CDs and cassettes.
It's two very big different eras in there, to be honest with you. 1986 is ubiquity of CD players. I know this because I'm reading that chapter in Appetite for Self-Destruction right now.
He was also
But what
like
I'm saying-
35 in 86, right, Jesse?
Yes. So,
But what I'm saying is that, like, there's eras of format consumption, and I think that kind of dictates the formats people of those generations buy, right? Because, like, anyone under 35 who's, like, buying physical media, which is a relatively small percent of the population, is probably buying an LP because they're actually streaming. They just want the physical MFT.
Yeah, and in terms of like a physical thing that feels the most cool, a vinyl is going to be the thing that satisfies, because the artwork's huge, the insert, there's a lot of room to put cool stuff inside, and the disc looks cool. Like, there's a lot of stuff to look at versus CD, one, it's also a different master almost all the time if the band's
Yeah.
doing it right. And so like the mastering will sound different for the vinyl, whereas the master for the CD is going to be the same as the streaming in a lot of cases. Or
I
it's
was
gonna
told
be,
that it was going to be NFTs that were the true collectibles. Is that not true anymore?
You ready for a hot one?
Oh God.
NFTs, just like everybody laughed at QR codes in 2013, NFTs will have their day.
I interviewed a guy on my channel like a couple weeks ago. I don't know when this will air, but like, you know, as I'm filming, and he made $250,000 with NFTs.
Yeah, there are artists who have invested heavily. I know a few of them, but it's interesting the way that they sell the NFTs is that they are talking to their super fans directly about them. So they're having conversations, and it's the same thing with the vinyls where it's like, hey, how can I support you? And it's like, honestly, these NFTs are a great way. And oftentimes he is their first experience with purchasing NFTs and only experience most of the time.
You know, a really good band to look at for NFTs is Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh yeah, they did a whole thing.
They've done a really good job. My friend Johnny Christ.
Is that someone in the band?
Yeah, no,
I thought all of them were just named after different police officers, since that's the way people
Avenged
listen to
Sevenfold
music.
is a really big deal for Andrew and I. But
You're the first non-cops I've ever heard like them.
But Avenged Sevenfold have done a really good job of building like an NFT interactable universe.
The Death Bats Club is what they call it.
Yeah,
right?
like there's
If anyone wants some deep Andrew Southworth cuts, go online, type in Andrew Southworth Avenged Sevenfold vocal cover, and you will find.
I've seen it. It's
Really?
great.
My Unholy Confessions cover from like 2009 or something.
Baby, I was obsessed with your content like 5 years ago. I know.